The Coldest Winter Ever is a tour de force, as finely tuned to its heroine's voice as Alice Walker's The Color Purple. Riveting stuff with language so frank it curls your hair. Kirkus Reviews. Real and raw. If a rap song could be a novel, it might resemble Sister Souljah's book. The message is solid and one that we can never stop preaching to our youth. Anything that comes too easy or too fast is also too risky. Book list. Winter is precious, vivacious, and as tough as a hollow point bullet. Her voice is the book's greatest strength. Salon.com. Intriguing. Sister Souljah exhibits a raw and true voice in this cautionary tale protesting drugs and violence among young African Americans in the inner city. Souljah peppers her raunchy prose with epithets and street lingo, investing her narrative with honesty. A realistic coming-of-age story. Publishers Weekly. The compelling book tugs at the emotions. Chicago Sun-Times. Souljah adds a new voice to the most marginalized of the marginalized. Black Issues Book Review. Souljah has an engaging style that makes the novel a fast, fun read. The Plain Dealer, Cleveland. Hip-hop sage and activist Sister Souljah has taken her talents from the stage to the page. Essence. Sometimes the struggle has to be repackaged to get a point across. Sister Souljah, one of hip-hop's perennial forces and a self-described raptivist, does this with her first novel. The Coldest Winter Ever is a platform for this resourceful young activist to spread messages that are clear, concise, and true to the game. The Source. This is a ghetto fairy tale with a surprise ending. There's a lesson to be learned from The Coldest Winter Ever. Tennessean, Nashville. The power of Sister Souljah's writing enthralled me from the first page. I hope she will continue making young men and women think, letting them know they have choices and that they can change their world. FictionForest.com. This is a wild tale. Sister Souljah has painted a vivid portrait of a girl you'd rather have as a friend than an enemy. 17. Salute. Welcome to Ralph Reads, brought to you by TURN, the United Ronin Networks. My name is Ralph Anthony Garcia, also known as R4. The legal, the loyal, the regal, the royal, Ronin Ralph, your master of ceremonies. I would like to take this moment to tell you folks thank you for joining me on Ralph Reads, and to please tell a friend to like, share, comment, and subscribe to TURN, the United Ronin Networks. We are Ronin. On today's edition of Ralph Reads, I indeed proceed to read this epic written by the one and only Sister Souljah in her Essence and Emerge bestseller, The Coldest Winter Ever. So let the reading commence. Chapter 10.
House of Success was a group home for teenage girls aged 13 to 18. Don't ask me how or why they picked that name. As far as I was concerned, it was a joke like everything else. This building was set up like a house. Somehow somebody thought they would take a whole bunch of anonymous families, put them in the building, set up like a house, and have them pretend they was like family. There were 4 girls in each big room. There were about 10 big rooms. One big-ass living room that doubled as the recreation room. There were offices where the people in charge did whatever they were pretending to do. Across from the offices were a set of small rooms that some counselors and personnel slept in when they did the overnight shift. This was minimum security where a girl had to follow certain rules and would somehow be rewarded with little freedoms, quote unquote, as Ms. Griswoldy put it. For the next 30 days you will be evaluated. If you are not deemed to be violent or suffering from a learning disorder or illness, you will be treated like a young adult with adult responsibilities. So the deal was I had to be on lockup, meaning I couldn't leave or come and go as I please. I had to stay within the facility for 30 days while they decided if I was ready for the world. I wasn't scared. Souljah raised me to be strong. I'll admit, I had all those fucked up scenes in my head from the movies, like some squad of butch women dragging me out of my bed, fucking me up in the bathroom, and shoving a broomstick up my pussy. But I would fight anybody I had to before I would let them get me down. They'd have to kill me before I let some chicks eat my pussy or make me lick theirs. All that shit was dead. The House of Success wasn't like the movies, though. In the room I was assigned to, I met all kinds. First, there was this girl from Haiti. The only thing I could say about her was that she was the greasiest person I ever saw. She had a dogged-out, uneven jerry curl with all the grease activator and gel that comes with it. She had the jerry curl grease colliding with the Vaseline on her face. She had greasy lotions for her hands and feet, and in general, always looked wet. Her name was Coldest. There was no worse nightmare than the clothes she wore. It looked like she picked a year from the past, let's say 1975, and decided all her clothes would be from that time. To make it worse, she just said, fuck the color scheme. I'll wear a purple shirt with green gauchos with a yellow hat with a big pink flower on it, and I'll top this shit off with some wooden platform open-toe shoes so I could show off my big maroon bunion. Needless to say, Coldest mostly stayed to herself. The only time I seen her chillin' with the other girls in the house was when they chipped in and bought her a cheap Walkman for her birthday. She was ridiculously happy. They claimed the only reason they bought it was 'cause Coldest played some old fucked up Christian radio station with gospel music and a loud, wacky, screaming preacher on the AM dial. They couldn't take hearing it no more. So, they got her the radio with the headphones. Lachey was a trip. She was kinda chubby with a big cute face. She was one of those girls who decided that she didn't care if her body was a size 16. She was still gonna wear size 11 clothing. She had big hips, a big booty, and a waist that was small compared to the rest of her butt. You couldn't tell her she was fat though. The way she figured it, if the hips are 48 inches and the waist 36 and the titties 40, that's a perfect hourglass shape. She wore halter tops when it obviously should have been a crime. She wore Daisy Duke shorts and shoes with laid-to-the-side heels that were begging for forgiveness with every step she took. Her thing was the boys who, if you let her tell it, all were in love with her. She had damn near every issue of Word Up magazine with all her favorite pictures of rap stars glued to the wall in a raggedy collage. She was the show-off type. It was more like she was a comedian to me, 'cause how you gonna show off in busted shoes and clothes you bought from some Indian at a candy stand in the train station? Rashida was into her own little world. She was pretty, but it didn't count. She never made it work for her. She wore her hair back in a ponytail all the time, every day. She had no flavor about cuts, wraps, twists, nothing. No style. She had a cute little figure, but kept it covered up like it was on punishment or something. She had the nerve to, in this day and time, wear dingy, no-name kicks on her feet. You know, the ones they sell in the supermarket for $4. She didn't decorate her side of the room at all. If you looked over there, it was plain. Period. She was extra clean and tidy. All she did was read. She didn't even watch television unless it was the gloomy-ass news. Noni was the girl whose bed I got. She was transferred to another room. The girl said Noni smoked cigarettes like a smokestack, even though there was no smoking allowed. She had taken a roll of string, made a line and a curtain around her bed out of a sheet. It didn't matter, they said, 'cause the smoke kept stinking up the room anyway. They said she had a nervous problem, was molested by her stepdad, and beaten by her mother. Smoking made her feel good, and she would kick any ass who tried to take her cigarettes or report her. They said the counselors who did the overnight just let her keep smoking because it was easier to be Noni's friend than her enemy. As a consequence, other girls just followed her lead and lit up too. When one girl in the other room turned 18, she was released and had to go and make it on her own. When her bed got free, they put Noni in there because there were 3 more smokers in that room. I got her bed and ended up with Claudette, Lachey, and Rashida. My first week was crazy. They took me into the office for an interview with my newly assigned social worker. Her name was Kathy Johnson. As soon as I got back into the room, I peeped her. She had her hair pulled back in a neat sweep. Perm needed a serious touch-up. I could see she tried hard to lay the naps down with some gel that was turning white and flaking. She did her own nails, but believe me, she was the type that was too lazy to take off the old layer of polish, so she just piled the new layer on top so it didn't lay smooth on her nails. On her feet were some pleather knockoffs, the kind that when you flipped them over had a stamp on the bottom that read man-made uppers. Her pantsuit was JCPenney's or Sears, definitely polyester or rayon. "Come in, Winter, have a seat," she said like I needed her help. She pushed a manila file open and flipped through some papers. I checked her left hand. No engagement ring, no wedding ring, nothing. On the wall, she had some kind of degree from Fordham University. "Winter, where did you go to school?" she asked. "I used to go to Half Hollow Hills High on Long Island." "Then what happened?" she asked. I sucked my teeth and said, "What's the sense in having all those papers in the folder about me if you're going to ask me what you already know? Okay, Winter, did you drop out? Did you register at another school after Long Island? And how do you plan to finish your education? These are the type of things I need to find out from you." I gave her answers, short ones. What was I supposed to do? Struggle to be like her? Pay some big school, big money so I could get a little job in some little place making an itty-bitty bit of cash? What do I get? To hang a stupid-ass degree in my little office where I don't make enough dough to get a regular manicure, pedicure, or perm? I should be interviewing her, asking her what's her problem. She asked me about my sisters, who, for the most part, I had put out of my mind. She asked me about my mother and father and every nosy thing she could nose around in, at which time I gave her any answer that popped in my head. She asked me could I read and write. I told her, of course, and I could talk too. After 2 hours, I was leaving her office. I asked, how do I get money in here? As she explained it, I got $60 a week. The institution got $800 per month per child. The $60 a week represented my spending money after the institution paid its expenses. "What expenses?" I asked. "We take care of everything else you would need, Winter. We purchase the food, clothes, shelter, etc." "You mean to tell me you bought those clothes all them girls is wearing?" "No, not exactly. There's a voucher system. Your social worker, that's me," she said proudly, "will accompany you once every 2 months or 3 months to get what you need." "You're gonna help me shop?" I repeated and laughed. Miss Johnson said, "You know, if you don't follow the rules in here, you forfeit all of your privileges. That includes nights out, weekend passes, and your weekly stipend." "Stipend?" I asked. "Your money. You know, Winter, you're one of the older girls around here. Most of the 16 and 17-year-olds get after-school jobs. You're not going to be here long. I suggest you focus on making specific plans for your future. I'm here to help you in any way I can." After a box lunch, I saw the institutional psychiatrist. She was a nut. She asked me all kinds of questions about my mother and father. Did my father touch me? Did I ever want to have sex with him? Did my mother ever beat me? No matter how many times I told her as no, she would put the question another way, but still be asking the same shit. She asked me dumb things like how did I feel when they took my sisters away. She might as well have asked me, is a burning building hot? She asked me about my relationships with my friends and men. I looked at her like, lady, do you really think me and your old ass is gonna sit here and have girl talk? To entertain myself, I started making things up. I'd break out in a rash when I'm in the room with more than 2 people. I'm a virgin and would like to be one until I'm 30. I masturbate to the sound of the washing machine. I was cracking myself up. She was sitting there with a long yellow pad, actually trying to come up with an explanation for all the gobbledygook I was giving her. More tests, reading and math. If they found out anything, it's that I can read, write, and count. As Santiago would say,
everything else is just extra unnecessary.
I met with the birth control lady who really wanted to get personal. I wouldn't tell her nothing, but I did take sample from sponges and those free condoms, even though there were no men in the house. I figured when they loosen up on me, I can have them just case. At night, most of the girls were gone. They got evening passes, which allowed you to leave until 11 p.m. Some had jobs to go to. Others had free time. If you came in after 11 and missed curfew, you forfeited your passes for the rest of the week. If you were late 3 times in 30 days, you permanently lost your evening opportunities. I was stuck inside with the girls on punishment. The newcomers who had to be evaluated like me, and the uniformed ladies who guarded the door, registering girls in and out. Laying on my bed, I put together a list of things I needed. Top of my list was a lock. I needed to lock up my suitcase before somebody pulled one of Aunt B's capers and tried to lift some of my clothes. I had already decided if anyone put their hands on my stuff, we'd go head up. After I got my list together, I sat and thought, the challenge for me now would be making something out of nothing. How to make money when I had no money to start with. Then I was hit by a brilliant idea. I jumped from my cot and walked into the bedroom across the hall. Noni, let me borrow $1. I need to make a couple of calls. When am I gonna get it back? Friday. All right, I'll lend you $1 one time. If Friday comes and I don't see you or my dollar, your credit is dead and don't ask me for shit no more. Cool, I responded, got 4 quarters, and waited on this chick Ginger to get off the payphone. Simone, what's up, girl? I got a deal for you. Got any money? Yeah, I got a little something. Heard you were in some trouble. Nah, I ain't in no trouble. At least nothing I can't handle. Listen, I got a list of shit I want you to pick up for me. It will run you about $200. Simone laughed. It ain't gonna cost me nothing. All the better, I said. I read the list, told her to pack everything in a box. I'll call you back Friday morning. You'll meet my girl, give the box to her. I'll pay you for the stuff on Sunday night. I figured there were 40 girls in here, including me. Every one of us had $60 a week at least. Some had jobs. That meant altogether, the girls in the House of Success took in a minimum of $2,400 per week. There was no way I was going to be standing around in some polyester McDonald's suit saying, "May I help you, sir? Would you like a Coke with your fries?" I would set up shop in here and provide everybody with what they needed. I would even help them to understand what they needed. I was locked in for 3 more weeks. That was 3 Fridays, which meant at best there was a maximum intake of 7,200. All I need is 5,000 for myself. When I got my evening privileges, I'd invest my own money in the streets, triple it at least, and get my own place, loot, and life. I might as well have Simone for a partner, 'cause she understood business and wasn't a gossip like Natalie. She was gonna have a baby soon and would need my help as well. We'd get paid together. I'd spend every day up until Friday getting to know the girls in the house. It wasn't hard. Every day I would get up, do my hair in a different fly style, and rock my clothes like I was going out on a real special date. Only thing was, I really wasn't going anywhere, and everybody knew it. The girls watched me and asked me how I did my hair in a certain style, how I manicured my own hands, pedicured my own toes, and where I got my clothes and shoes from. I gave them answers. After a while, they started asking questions about me. Who am I? My background. Eventually, they started telling me about their lives. They liked my stories better though, 'cause theirs were mostly hard luck stories. I told them about the big birthday party Santiago gave me on my 5th birthday. It was in the balloon at a local hotel. Santiago filled the room up with 500 balloons, 100 for every year I had been alive. All the little kids from the block came. I got my first party dress, the kind you wouldn't want to be caught dead in when you're 13, but are delighted with when you're 5. I had Gucci patent leather loafers and white lace stockings. We took family photos together, and Santiago gave me a charm bracelet with a 24-karat gold elephant. Every year until I was 12, he gave me a new gold animal. When I turned 13, I turned the charm bracelet into a necklace. I didn't wear it because by that time I had even better stuff, but I treasured it. Of course they asked me where all my stuff was, and I lied and told them in storage until my parents worked out their situation. I found out which girls had jobs and which didn't, who had extra money and what kind of taste they had. All the while I was talking, my mind was organizing what kind of stuff I could sell, what type of services I could perform, and what type of prices I could charge, and how much I could expect to accumulate over the first couple of weeks. Friday, when Lachey was leaving on a weekend pass, I told her to meet Simone in the local pizza shop to pick up the box she was delivering to me. First thing I did was pull out my lock and chain from my suitcase that I had been guarding with my life since my arrival. I put all of my new stuff inside and locked and chained it up. I organized the magazines I had asked for on my desk and I officially opened up shop. My first customer, the person I volunteered to be my best customer, was Claudette. I figured if I could fix her up, make her pay for it, she'd be a good example of what my work was worth. I also found out that Claudette never spent her money. She was 17 years old, worked on weekdays, and sent $150 a month to that wacky preacher she listened to. She stashed the rest.
Claudette, you got a boyfriend?
No, she said shyly.
Oh, I guess you can't have a boyfriend because you're a Christian.
No, I can't have a boyfriend. There are just some things we can do, some things we can't.
So what happens? You meet a nice guy and he finds out you ain't gonna give him none, so he breaks out?
No, we don't even get that far. I like a guy, he doesn't like me. That's it.
I know what you need.
What do I need, Winter? I am sure that you know. You seem to know so much.
If I show you what you need and give you what you need, it's going to cost you.
Oh no, I don't want to spend any money.
But after I hook you up, you will meet any man you want to meet. Your whole life will change. You give money to your preacher, right?
Oh yes, this is different.
But he doesn't do anything for you.
You don't know that. He makes me feel good, better every day.
But I can make you feel better than he can, and once I show you, you can do it for yourself. Alright, let's make a deal. I'll fix you up. If you like what you see, you pay me. If you don't owe me nothing. I handed her a stack of magazines, told her to flip through and tell me who she wanted to look like. I talked Claudette's ear off, got her hyped up on change. When I had her settling in a chair, ready for a new cut, I could have cried with laughter. The only thing I knew about cutting hair was what a good haircut was supposed to look like when it was done and whatever I had peeped from Erlin's. What made me calm, though, was there was no way for me to fuck up Claudette's hair any more than it already was. So I started cutting until she was damn near bald. The way I figured it, she needed to start all over again. I gave her finger waves. If I say so myself, it looked fly. I gave her a facial, unclogged all the Vaseline and that cheap $1 drugstore makeup she wore. I busted out my nail kit, gave her tips, a French manicure, and pedicure. I made her take off that red skirt, tube socks, and sandals, and told her that, because I liked her, I would let her take a quick look in my suitcase. I unlocked it and unchanged it carefully to make her fully understand that she was about to enjoy a special privilege. From now on, I told her, she could order her clothes from me. Let's just take it slow,
I told her. She selected one of my designer dresses. When she glanced in the mirror, saw the French manicure, finger waves, natural face with quality MAC lipstick, and the Donna Karan dress, she smiled at herself, turned to the left side, turned to the right side, turned to the front, and to the back. From what I could tell, she was stuck in a state of shock.
Now try these on,
I said. I took my shoes out of the shoebox I kept them packed in. They were one size too small for her, but she got the concept.
Now Claudette,
I said, holding her face between my hands, making her look me dead in the eye.
I have to take my dress and shoes back, but look at yourself and know that you can look like this if you let me help you. Your life will change.
How much? Claudette asked.
For the face, hair, nails, and feet?
Yeah, and the dress.
Oh, you can't afford this dress. It's mine. But I can show you something just as nice. I'll show you my catalog later tonight. You pick and pay and we'll be in business.
How do you know I can't afford the dress? Claudette asked with a funny accent.
Even if you could, which I doubt, you can't have it. It's a designer exclusive.
I lied just to gas her up.
They only made a few of these, but you can get something almost as nice. Let me work on finding the right thing for you.
I charged her $60. She paid me. I watched as she got an extra switch in her walk. For another $60, I convinced her to buy a pair of my jeans and a blouse shit I got from Banana Republic. I talked to her about toning down her colors. All in all, I made a permanent customer. That was week 2 in the House of Success, and I already had $120 plus my $60 stipend. Once Claudette spread the word, not through talking because she was kinda shy, but just being different from the fresh off the boat girl she used to be, I was gonna rake in the dough. Things took off quickly. I had what everybody needed at better prices that they could get it themselves. Everybody was happy. I organized all the fashions from the magazine into a catalog, put numbers on the items and the whole shit. I let people in the house order their clothes from me. I let Simone boost them and sell them to me for a small price. I resold them to the girls at less than half of what the store would charge. Lachey was my unsuspecting runner, which put money in her pocket. She got to meet Simone, pick the stuff up for me, deliver it to me, and drop off whatever I wanted. I had cut-rate cartons of cigarettes for Noni, wholesale candy for Lachey, clothes, hairdos, fingernails, pedicures, and fashion tips for whoever needed it. I had beer and joints at the right time on the down low. Depending on what was going on with Simone, I had things as big as cellular phones and CD players available. At the end of 21 days, I had $2,500 in my pocket, and I had never left my room. Kathy Johnson, my social worker, recommended I finish school. I disagreed and told her to make arrangements for me to drop out. To keep things cool, I agreed to take my GED exam so I could get that bullshit equivalency. I even agreed to look for a job, which I wasn't really gonna do. The other girls in the house put me up on a scam. All I had to do was fill out a form weekly saying I looked for a job and where I looked for the job. I could get real company names and addresses from the want ads, complete the form, turn it in, and qualify as having looked for work. Work that, as far as I was concerned, I would never find because I already had a more profitable hustle going. Miss Johnson threatened to sign me up for all kinds of technical and business schools like I would want to be some kind of refrigerator repairman or some crazy shit like that. The psychiatrist recommended me to attend weekly psychiatric sessions, labeled me some kind of sociopath or something like that because I told her all those kooky stories that she was educated enough, or should I say dumb enough, to believe. She recommended that once I got my privileges, I should go visit my little sisters and that the whole family go to counseling. I had a better idea. I had a better plan. I believe you see people when you have something to say and something to offer, and I was still working on it. What was the sense in seeing my sisters when I couldn't do shit for them? They start talking about they want to come with me. What would I do then? Move them from one shelter to another shelter for teenage girls? People always seem to have stupid suggestions. On my first free day, I hooked up with Simone. We had talked regularly on the phone because time was limited. There was only one phone on my floor and everybody wanted to use it. No sense in hogging the phone and pissing off my customers. Simone seemed real happy to actually see me. We met at a pizza spot. She updated me on Brooklyn, said Natalie and Will were still together. Natalie hated me and had told all my personal business to everyone. My mom's had sunk to an all-time low, had been seen wearing a full-body catsuit, you know, the tight $2 legging with the bodysuit attached with no panties underneath. Her head was still bald, face still twisted, and body still on crack. Of course, Simone didn't word it that way, but let's cut through the bullshit. I'm smart. Word on the street was Santiago ain't never getting out. Aunt B was screwing for money, my whole family had individual hustles going on, and in general, shit was tight. On the side, Simone added that she had fixed up the room in her apartment for the baby. She had a new crib, blankets, toys, the works. Everything was pink. I told her it was dumb, 'cause what if the baby was a boy? She had a sonogram, she said, and was sure it was a girl, so everything was in perfect order. She said she was 7 months pregnant now and getting tired all the time. She wanted me to know that she had put some money aside for the baby and she would need to slow down for the 8th and 9th month. Now, I was no dummy, so I caught the signal. My plans had to kick in as soon as possible. If she was gonna slow down, that would affect the chain of cash flow we had going. Let's face it, she was a booster. I wasn't. She had the know-how and the connect. I didn't. To tell you the truth, I wasn't even interested in being a booster as long as I could make what Simone was already deep into working for me.
Simone, I want to make an investment. What kind of investment? That ain't my area, Winter, you know that. You know I have a weed connect, but it's out in Brooklyn back around the way. No, fuck that. I need a closer connect up here. Weed is cool, but crack is better money. Once them baseheads get going, they completely loyal customers. I need to at least triple my money so I can make moves. I got a guy I could talk to, a cousin uptown. He's real tight with his shit though. He might not even have a conversation with me. He be acting like he don't be doing what he doing when everybody know what he be doing. Winter, I don't know about getting into that shit. When you get caught, you do time. Hard time. She hesitated, lowered her eyes. Look what happened to your father.
Right, I thought. That's who I should be talking to, my father. And no matter what Simone said, my father got at least 20 years of good high living out of the business. Nobody could argue with that. That's power. To be able to set up your own empire in your neighborhood, or even somebody else's neighborhood for that matter. To buy cars, jeeps, trucks, to sport the flyest shit made by top designers every day. To be able to buy property, mansions, and still have apartments on the side. To be able to shit on people before they get a chance to shit on you. That's power. Who could argue with that? A regular nigga worked all week for change to get to work plus a beer to forget how hard he worked. My pops was a major player for a long time. With the benefit of his knowledge, I could make the world kiss my ass, but better than he did, cause he could now teach me about the mistakes. Let's compare it. 10 years of good living, 20 years of high living versus 60 years of scraping to get by. Enough said. I told Simone,
listen, work on that connect for me. Try and set me up a meeting. Here's a list of what I need for the house. Let's meet here Friday night at 9. I'll pick it up. What about Lachey?
Simone asked.
Who?
I responded, my mind drifting to Santiago.
Oh, I don't need her anymore. I could get my evening passes now. I could be out till 11 p.m. So what's she gonna do? Whatever she was doing before I got there.
I gave Simone a hug and broke out. On the bus ride to the jail, I organized a clever way to key Santiago into what I was saying without exposing my hand to guards or phone surveillance. As Santiago had taught me,
hold your cards close to your chest.
Also, I wouldn't bring up the Dulce issue because that might cause him or even me to get mad and then I might end up leaving the jail without the information I needed. I would say yes, I saw Porsche, Mercedes, and Lexi. How were they doing? Fine, getting big, growing up, and going to school. What could I say about Mama? Well, it was unusual, but I didn't have an answer until the time I arrived at Rikers, went through checks and searches and the whole process. I still had no answer. Up until the time for me to sign in the book, I sat nervously, biting my lip about Mama, a woman who, despite everything, I know Daddy loved so much. The guard said,
have a seat.
I preferred to stand. Somehow I thought I could think better standing up, so I went to the corner of the room and paced back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When the guard returned, he said,
sorry, Miss Santiago. Ricky Santiago does not want to see anybody today.
What? Did you tell him it was me? Did you tell him it was his daughter, Winter Santiago?
Yes, I did. I gave him the same name you gave me.
What do you mean he doesn't want to see me? What did he say? How did he say it?
He didn't say anything. I told him you were here. He shook his head no. He doesn't have to come out. A prisoner has the right to refuse a visit.
Tears welled up and splashed out my eyes. The guard said,
listen, if you write your name and address on a piece of paper, I can give it to him. Maybe he'll write.
As I jotted down my name, address, and phone number, I put on the bottom of the ripped piece of paper,
Daddy, please call me right away. I need you badly. Winter.
At the House of Success, everyone asked me what's wrong. I looked at their faces and thought to myself,
you're not in my damn family. Don't try to act like you are.
I shut them out and didn't respond. I went to my bed, took off my shoes, and balled up under the cover in my clothes and slept. I slept through the rest of the afternoon, evening, and the night. I slept through the next morning, the next afternoon, and the next evening again. Girls came and went. Can I buy a stogie? Do you have any more perm cream? What time can I get my hair done? Where did you put the catalog? My response was nothing. On the third bedridden morning, Miss Johnson, the social worker, came. If there's a problem, Winter, we can talk about it. We can work it out. I just stared at her face, then rolled over and balled up again. By noontime, the psychiatrist came and insisted that I needed a session. Pent-up aggression wouldn't solve anything, she said. I had better eat some food or at least drink some water. I said nothing. By 1 o'clock, security came, poked me with a nightstick, and said I had to get dressed and go to the psychiatric office immediately. The rock-faced lady man with the big arms made it clear that if I didn't move my ass, she would move me. I got up and went through the motions of preparing to go. Rashida was seated on her bed. She watched me with tears in her eyes. As the guard waited outside the door, Rashida came to me and said, "All right, Winter, you don't have to say anything. I can understand it. But whatever happened to you, I've been there before. It's a real bad place to be, but I've been there. It almost makes you wonder if being dead isn't better. But let me just say this. Once I took a bottle of pills because I wanted to die. I figured I'd die, no more pain, right?" "Wrong," she said, answering herself. "I ended up on the operating table with the doctors pumping my stomach. A lot of pain. When I got better, there was still pain. So I tried it again. I slashed my wrist with a knife. I figured, sure way to die, right? And when I die, no more pain, right? Wrong. When I woke up, I was in the hospital with tubes everywhere and stitches in my wrist. When the anesthesia wore off, there was pain for weeks later. I still had a cast, painkillers, and pain. Soon as the pills wore off, there was more pain. Even when I got better, there was pain. Pain is a part of life. That's my point. Pain is a part of life. When it's your time to go, you go. If it's not your time, you don't go. Until then, make the best of it. If you find God, the good in yourself, you can take most of the pain away, and then the few times you get pain, you can just surrender to Allah and the pain will go away." I couldn't connect to what she was saying. The security yelled in and said, "Come on, Santiago, the doctor is waiting." I got up. Rashida said, "Listen, tonight I'm going to see Sister Souljah speak. She's a real beautiful sister who has helped me to understand myself a little more and get it together. If you want to come, I'll take you, my treat."
Your treat? It costs money? What the hell are you giving her money for?
My face was vexed, and Rashida was intimidated by my sudden change and instant anger.
"I could see if you were going to see a show," I went on. "Then at least you get what you pay for. You're going to go listen to somebody talk shit? Souljah gets paid. You get nothing. Stupid ass."
Rashida looked shocked at the dramatic change in my personality. "I guess I'm a stupid ass for trying to help you," Rashida exclaimed. As she left the room, probably just to get away from me, I shouted,
"Do me a favor." "Oh, now you need a favor. Ask Sister Souljah if she knows somebody named Midnight."
My session with the psychiatrist revived me, not because of anything she did, because of what I did and said. The story I told her made me laugh inside, and that helped to take away some of the depression I felt. I told her I had a best friend named Natalie, and ever since childhood, we had been connected. We were so connected that when she cried, I cried. When she was sick, I was sick. When she was happy, I was happy. Even when we were separated, I could still feel Natalie's emotions, and she could still feel mine. Natalie had made one of her other friends angry by telling some of her personal business, so the girl beat Natalie unconscious. The reason I was stuck in bed for 3 days was because I was unconscious like Natalie. After the story, she asked me 1,000 questions, all of which I answered. I can't repeat my answers because I made them up as I went along and forgot them just the same. The day I decided I would think of everyone in my family as dead, this made everything easy. It would be me against the world. Simone would be important to me because she was my business connect. I had learned there was no point in getting personal. It was just a waste of time. As Santiago would say, everybody knows,
time is money, and money is time.
Simone was on point as usual. She delivered my things, I gave her the loot.
What's wrong with you, Winter?
she asked, as though I was different than normal.
Nothing. Just going over the numbers in my head. What's up with that connect? It's not gonna happen. Forget it, Winter. He don't want to get mixed up with no trouble.
Got vexed just for me mentioning his business.
I told him I could trust you, that you were in for self, but he said that was hard to believe. Damn,
I said, frustrated.
Any other options?
She asked. I got a couple of ideas in my head. Let me work on them.
Alright, Simone, what else is up? I'm debating on whether to go to the show tomorrow night or not.
I laughed at her.
Yeah, your belly kinda out there,
I said, looking at her belly.
No, crazy, that's not it. I figured if I'm going to go to a show, I ought to be able to stay awake. This sleeping shit is getting out of control. Who's performing? Wu-Tang. Let's do it, I said. What you gonna wear? She asked. Hey, Saks Fifth Avenue got this dusty pink suede dress with a matching jacket. Bangin'. Pick it up for me. I already got the shoes. I was trying to wait for you to get them, but there was only one pair left in my size, and I didn't want anybody else to buy them. If you can cop the dress and the jacket, I'll give you $350 for it. That's a little more than half of the price. You got it, Winter. Let's meet at your spot about 9. How we rollin'?
Limo, like usual, I said with a half a smile.
All right, big timer,
she agreed. When I got back to the house, I apologized to everyone for bugging out for the past few days. I told them my mother was hospitalized and very sick. It got me depressed because the doctor said she might not pull through. I saw her today and thank God she was gonna be alright. They all accepted my apology. I gave them discounts on shit they needed for the weekend. After the discount, we were all cool again. None of these girls would hold a grudge because they'd had their good days and their bad days too. One by one, girls were leaving on weekend passes. I hung around because Friday night was a money night for me. If I had a good take, I would have a total of $2,800 saved. Rashida came in and threw shade on me. For business purposes, I immediately apologized to her. The truth of the matter is, Rashida was one of maybe 2 girls in the House of Success who never bought anything from me. She didn't borrow money, didn't ask for shit. However, in business, I know that if a bad feeling spreads about the saleswoman or the product, it can infect others. So I was being scientific about it. Rashida accepted my apology, but not in a way that made me believe things were cool between us. She was cautious, but I rallied her back to a good position, find out something she liked, and provide it to her. On Saturday morning, I went out to the stores. There was really no need for me to shop anymore, cause Simone could get what I wanted, but nothing could replace the whole idea of the store, along with the thrill of being there. I kept my finger on the fashion nerve by always being in and out of the top stores. This made Simone's job easy because I could tell her what I wanted, which store to lift it from, down to the exact section and sometimes the exact rack. I like to keep up with cosmetics, although I didn't need anything besides a little lipstick. My skin was smooth. My eyelashes were already dark and long. Some of the girls I sold shit to had uneven skin. Some had blotches, and some straight up had scars, razor cuts they wanted to hide. My being up on the skin remedies, new cosmetic colors, styles, and exclusive shit they could have never known existed meant they would have to keep coming back to me. I had packaged my advice, products, and styles like a secret potion that they could only purchase from me. While I was out, I saw a cute pink suede hat that I wanted. It would go so perfect with the dress, jacket, and shoes. I was gonna get Simone to pick it up for me, although I was tempted to buy it myself just in case. Sometimes Simone was slow to answer her beeps. You couldn't blame her because she was usually in the middle of picking something up. Later, I wandered into a pawn shop just to price what I could get for my diamond tennis bracelet, necklace, and earrings in an emergency situation. I found out the shop owners were not only thieves, but perverts who made it clear that they weren't above fucking me in the back room of the shop. $400 was what they offered for a bracelet that cost my father a few thousand. The only good thing was, if I got desperate and needed the money, I could pick up the $400 and buy the necklace back later. I saw a fat nail design in this Chinese lady's shop, so I went in and got my hands redone. She was overcharging. When I asked her the price, she could tell from the look in my eyes that she was about $50 over the normal nail design fee, But she was smart. I never seen the same nail designs she was pushing anywhere. So I told myself, hey, she's a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman. Motherfuckers gotta respect that. I got a fly design and easily calculated a way to pass this personal expense on to my loyal customers at the house.
Chapter 11.
Saturday evening, the House of Success was like a ghost town. Besides the security staff, no one was there except Rashida. She was lying on her bed reading her book, of course. "What's up, girl?" I asked Rashida, trying to get things between me and her back to normal by striking up a little conversation. "A letter came for you," she said dryly. "It's on your bed."
Winter, this is to the most beautiful daughter any man could ever have. I couldn't see you the other day. I was concentrating on things that needed to be done. But the real shit is I needed a shave and a haircut. I didn't want you to think your pops was falling off. Listen, don't worry about me. You know I'm holding it down. I'm a fighter, and so are you. I raised you to be on top. I got to admit, I wish the rest of the family was strong like the two of us. A lot of them been breaking down under the pressure, slipping. I thought I could depend on certain family members to take care of some small but important things. Now I know that I can't. Now there's a lesson for you, Winter. When you're making the dough, it's all love. The clique is tight, and the family's bout it. When your dough is low, you ain't shit. Niggas forget what you done for them, what they owe you. I need a small favor, Winter. If you can do it, good. If you can't, don't worry over it. Get in touch with Midnight. I need something taken care of that I can't trust anybody else to do. Tell him to drop me a line or pay me a visit. Papa Santiago.
2 tears came rolling down without my permission. "Is everything okay?" Rashida asked. "Is your mom all right?" "Everything's cool," I said, quickly clearing the tears from my face. "Why do you always do that?" "Do what?" "Act like you so cool, like you're in control of every little thing. Why can't you just admit when something isn't all right so somebody could help you?" "You bugging. These are happy tears. I'm fine. But since we're on the topic of things people do what we hate, why do you always wear that damn ponytail? Why don't you try to live a little? Let your hair down." "Depends on what you consider living, Winter." "Oh, I guess you're not like everybody else." "I try not to be." "Do you have a man, Rashida?" "Nope." "Probably because of that damn ponytail." I laughed. "Listen," Rashida said, like she lost her mind and was about to get loud. "I'm not Claudette. I know who I am and all that. I'm not just looking for a man. I'm not ready yet. When I'm finished working on myself, then I'll bother with that." Ignoring her explanations, I asked and stated at the same time, "So, you like girls, huh? It's cool. I don't judge nobody." "You're crazy, Winter. I didn't say nothing about liking girls. I'm just taking my time. I'm only 16. "Are you still a virgin, Rashida?" "You're not?" "Yeah, I am." "Hell no," I said as I busted out laughing. "I've been fucking since I was 12 years old. I started late. How about you?" "Well, you could say I'm a virgin because I never had sex voluntarily. I just never had those kinds of feelings for a man. I guess you could say I just find it hard to trust any guys, so I'm waiting to meet a brother who won't mind just taking everything nice and slow." "Good luck," I said with a doubtful voice. I wasn't gonna get all personal with her. "Hey, do you want to go to a concert with me tonight?" I asked. "Who's performing?" "Wu-Tang and Def Squad. You know, hip-hop." "Nah, I'll pass," Rashida said unenthusiastically. "You might as well come. If not, you'll be the only one left on this floor," I warned her. "It's okay. It took me a while, but now I'm okay with being alone. Besides, security is here." By 10:20 p.m., I figured out that Simone wasn't showing up. I wasn't mad at her, but I wasn't rolling to the concert alone either. No doubt her big ass was either somewhere eating or sleeping. Finally, I got Rashida to loosen up enough to try on my Adrienne Vittadini dress. She spun around, looking at herself in the mirror. "You see, this is what I'm talking about. This kind of dress gets a girl in trouble. Trouble is what I don't need. I tried it on. Are you satisfied? Now you can have it back. Rashida looked so good in my dress, I was happy to take it back from her. When the lights went out, I lay awake in my bed thinking about Santiago's letter. I know I said I was going to act like he was dead. Now things were different. I understood why he refused my visit last time. He didn't have anything to give to me. He felt he couldn't do nothing for me. I believed him when he said he didn't want me to see him because he didn't have it all together that day. What he didn't know was that he would forever be my hero, regardless of the small stuff. Before I was crushed, devastated even. Now I realized that me and him were just alike. We were both born to win, and when we're not winning, it was okay, because we were busy planning to win. Next time I see Simone, I will remember to ask her to sniff around and see if anyone in the Brooklyn neighborhood had heard from or seen Midnight. If anybody knew of his whereabouts, if anything had been said or even whispered, Natalie would know it. It would be hard to get Simone to ask Natalie about him because since me and her started hanging out, Simone made it clear that Natalie gets on her nerves. Plus, Natalie would know that Simone was asking about Midnight for me. You know she wasn't trying to help me out, but I was sure if anybody would know, Natalie would. If Natalie knew, somebody else around the way knew, 'cause Natalie can't ever keep her mouth shut. It had been months since Midnight had left me. Santiago's letter brought him back to the centerfold of my thoughts. It had been weeks since I had laid there in the dark imagining his fine body on top of me. No doubt I still had mad love for him. If what Daddy wanted would lead me to being able to see Midnight again, then locating him could make both me and Daddy happy at the same time. My thoughts were interrupted by Rashida's voice. I thought she had fallen asleep. Remember when you asked me to ask Souljah if she knew somebody named Midnight? Well, I did, and I think the reason you don't like Sister Souljah is because of a man.
What?
I responded with my ears at attention.
I told you I don't even know her.
Yeah, but you know this guy Midnight. From the look of Souljah's face when I asked her if she knew Midnight, she knew him well. You know, like in a man-woman way. I felt the heat in my body rising. I sat stiff in the dark waiting for Rashida to continue on her own. But she didn't.
What did she tell you?
I asked, trying to sound half interested. Oh, now you're interested in what Souljah has to say, Rashida said with a chuckle. I could tell she thought she had the upper hand on me, so I played cool.
No, I'm just saying, did Souljah tell you that Midnight was her man or something?
Don't try to play it off, Winter. I can hear it in your voice. You're in love with this guy, and Sister Souljah is his girl, so you don't like her. You're jealous. Needing to stab her back because she was trying to score points on me, I said, what would Sister Souljah be doing with a drug dealer as a boyfriend? Rashida became quiet, so I continued.
Wouldn't that make Souljah a fake dating a drug dealer?
Is Midnight a drug dealer? Rashida asked, as if she didn't hear what I said.
Is Midnight Souljah's man?
I pushed, waiting on an answer. Rashida, in a less confident tone now, added, well, Souljah didn't say Midnight was her man, she just had a look on her face when I mentioned his name, like there was some love there. You know, she had one of those smiles you see in the movies, like Diana Ross had for Billy D. Williams, or Jada Pinkett had for Alan Payne, or like Nia Long had for Lawrence Tate, you know what I mean. I pictured Rashida's dumb ass sitting in the dark trying to duplicate the smile. I decided right then and there she's a crazy bitch who definitely can't be trusted to be my middleman in any negotiation. I'd squeeze her for as much as I could get out of her, then I'd cut her ass off.
So what else did Souljah say?
Well, Rashida said reluctantly, she got curious about how I knew Midnight. I told her I didn't know him, but have a friend who does.
What did she say then?
She said she had spoken to Midnight recently and he was doing much better. What else? That's it. My mind was listening for each little detail. What did Souljah mean Midnight was doing much better? Was he sick or something? Rashida, still trying to put two and two together for herself, said, so, am I right? Are you in love with Midnight? Is he a drug dealer? No, I said to Rashida. I'm just like you. I don't love nobody. Midnight is my first cousin. We grew up together. He moved away and I haven't heard from him. My mother practically raised him. I need him to get in touch with my mom right away just in case anything happens with her illness, you know? Rashida became quiet.
He's not a drug dealer. I just said that to shake you up a little. You should never just follow somebody the way you follow Souljah.
Just think how disappointed you would have been if she turned out to be a hypocrite. True, Rashida mumbled, but she's not a hypocrite. She's for the people. She's helped me a lot personally. Just being able to talk to her, to know she's actually listening and really loves me means a whole lot.
Do you really believe she loves you?
I'm just saying, Rashida backtracked. She cares about how my life turns out, how my story ends. That's more than I could say about a bunch of people, even people in my own family.
Whatever, Rashida,
I said shortly, dismissing her. I really wish you would come to me, Souljah, or join her womanhood class or something.
Not hardly,
I shot back. Early Sunday morning, I called Simone. I didn't get no answer. Maybe she decided to give somebody some of that pregnant pussy. I couldn't be mad at that. Simone had worked hard for her baby. She deserved a good fuck. I laughed just thinking about what type of position the dude would have to twist her up into just to get close to her stuff. I bounced out to the stores for the rest of the day. I had ideas that needed to be taken care of. When I got back to the house late in the afternoon, seconds after I arrived, Lachey called me to the phone. I stepped into the corridor to pick it up.
Winter, are you sitting down?
Simone's voice asked.
What?
I laughed. Are you having triplets or something?
I got knocked. What? I'm locked down. I've been here all weekend long. I'm cold, I'm hungry, and I'm dying to get the fuck out. What happened? What happened? That stupid-ass pink dress happened, that's what. That shit was so fly, they had security guards just to watch it. Anyway, I need $1,500 to make bail.
$1,500, I repeated.
Whatever happened to ROR? Yeah, well, they seen me down here more than a couple of times before, so the crab-ass judge trying to lock me down for a year. If these motherfuckers try to take my baby, they're gonna have to upgrade my charges to murder. Alright, Simone. Who do you want me to see about the money? Who do I need to talk to? Stop fucking around, Winter. This shit ain't funny. Just put the loot up and we'll make it back as soon as I walk out of this dump.
What about your money? Where were you keeping that stash?
You mean the baby's money? I'm not gonna touch it, Winter. It's for the baby. Come on, just do me this one solid. I'll hit you right back as soon as you bail me out. You know how we do. Can't you get it from your moms or anybody else? Winter, that's a dumbass question. You know the runnings. I can't get shit that I don't make for myself. So why can't you use the baby's money to get yourself out? Then you can make them baby's money back. Damn, Winter, because anything could happen with the baby. The way these motherfuckers got me stressed, the shit could drop out right now. Winter, listen, I might have to use the baby's money for a lawyer anyhow. They sent some legal aid guy with a nervous twitch and a nasty skin problem. He's already talking about plead guilty and shit like that. This motherfucker was kicking it in the hallways with the prosecutor like they old buddies and shit. Winter, there's something about this time that got me worried.
Simone's voice sounded serious.
Winter, I cannot have my baby in here. Word up. It's dirty, it's cold, it's wet. They'll take her from me. Winter, just calm down. I'm good for it. You know I'm good for it. I'm in the pen downtown.
That's the one thing I hate about being friends, I thought. Now, how you gonna game a gamer? How does Simone think she's gonna try to trick a trickster? She purposely made that story up about the pink dress having got her arrested. Now I'm supposed to feel guilty about the situation and spend my hard-earned cash to get her ass out. How do I know what really happened? Sure, she helped me to make dough in the past, but not really when you think about it. She bought the products and I paid her for the products. It was all fair and square. It wasn't her doing me a favor. It was a business deal, straight up. She would have never done business with me if she wasn't getting her cut out of it. I was the one who had to take the time to get along with all these crazy, stupid-ass females in the house of success. I was the one who had to convince them one by one to give me their money. Them hair products and all that shit wouldn't mean nothing if I didn't have the flavor to freak the styles the right way. Besides, who was she fooling? Talking about the money she saved is for the baby. Hell, the money I saved is for something too. She acts like that baby is supposed to mean everything to everybody, when the truth is, it only means something to her. She probably ain't even got no dough saved.
She did something stupid with her money. Now she wants me to do something stupid with mine. Now I'm calculating this scene. She already told me she was planning to slow up with a boosting, which is just one way of saying she don't want to do it no more. Now I'm supposed to give my cash to her. She'll pay me back, she says. But I can see it already. I'll bail her out. She'll get scared that the judge is really gonna put her ass away. Then she'll give me some lame-ass excuse like she's too tired to boost. She keeps falling asleep. She needs to lay low until after she has her baby, just to be on the safe side. When the kid comes out, she'll be talking about how the baby changed her outlook and she don't want to get back into trouble. The bottom line is, I get beat for my dough. Every way I turn this around, I lose. I thought about it a second. If I leave my partner in the cold, that makes me the bitch. But I'd rather be a bitch with money in my hand, a sure thing. Like Santiago said,
when you got dough, everybody's cool with you. When your dough is low, nobody knows your name.
I'd have to get my own hustle on now. After shopping today, I only got $2,500 to my name. I make it work to my advantage. I ain't giving Simone shit. I laid my finger on the receiver. The call disconnected. Simone called back one more time. In exchange for 2 cigarettes, the security guard told Simone, "Winter ain't here." By Tuesday night, I was in deep concentration. I spent my day putting the package together for Santiago. It had everything I could think of him needing inside. I had dipped in my stash to get him some Salvatore Ferragamo shoes. I bought him a crisp, white Versace dress shirt, the kind he liked. The slacks I purchased from Barney's. I bought him a carton of cigarettes and a carton of cigars for bargaining. I placed $250 in an envelope to drop in his commissary. All this with a bottle of Icy Miyake cologne would set him up lovely on the inside. A lot of people think a prisoner can't style. They think all he can rock is a jail jumpsuit. But prisoners who ain't suckers, who got family, who ain't been convicted yet, can chill in the best clothes. Now, if a man holds position, he can keep the shit he owns cause niggas know better than to try to rob him for it. Santiago wouldn't have problems like this. After thinking about it, I knew it was important for me to get this package up to him. I needed to show that Santiago got family on the outside checking for him. There will be no surprises on my next visit. I set my mind up so that if Daddy refused to see me, I could handle it. Cause after I put the money in his commissary and dropped off the package, it would only be a short time before he would welcome me in or at least drop me a new line. Cattle on the bus was the way we rode to Rikers Island. I caught the bus in Queens with 60 other women and children. Chemical warfare is the only way to describe what happens when cheap perfume, body splash, body spray, underarm deodorant, curl activator, hairspray, and pissy Pampers collide. I chose to stand up after I almost sat down in the seat with some red juicy juice drink spilled in it. My white shark skin shirt would have been ruined. Lucky for some kid and her mother, I didn't make that mistake. Cause in addition to overcrowding, there would have been some ass whipping on that bus. From the bus to the Rikers Island waiting room, the air went from stank to stale. With all those bodies in one area, let's say niggas draw heat. I wasn't there in the waiting room 10 seconds before some armed corrections officer picked me out of the huge waiting room crowd of women. He was over 6 feet tall with a chest of steel. The funniest thing about him was he still rocked a box-style haircut, and that style had been played out for more than a little while. He walked stiff, like he had a pole up his ass, like a lot of cops walk. He had a confident smile on, like he was Ziggy or something. Both of his hands rested by his gun, which was on his waist with all that other shit cops wear around their waists. He said,
"Now, let me guess which one of these losers you're here to see."
I rolled my eyes and shifted my body position away from him.
"I can't understand it,"
he said, speaking in a low voice so others couldn't peep his conversation.
"I see it every day. Y'all get dressed up to see these animals who can't do nothing for you. You ride 1 train, 2 trains, a bus to see these fools. You can't touch them, they can't touch you. A brother with a good job and benefits can't get a play. So how about it, Cinnamon?"
he asked with his arms extended.
"Pass me your number. I'll call you as soon as I get off. I'll take you to lunch, dinner, breakfast,"
he suggested.
wherever you want to go.
I wanted to scream on his asshole, but he had a gun. So instead I said,
No, that's alright. Ain't nothing happening.
You got kids?
No, I ain't got no goddamn kids. I'm here to see my father, not my man.
Oh, so where your man at? If I was your man, I'd be sitting right there next to you.
I didn't say nothing.
All right then.
He pushed.
I'll give you my number. Maybe you'll think about what I said and give me a call sometime.
He handed me a business card.
I doubt it,
I said, crashing his ego down to the floor.
Who are you here to see?
He asked with authority, as if this was now some type of police matter. His eyes searched the package on my lap.
Ricky Santiago,
he said, reading the words printed on the box I bought for Daddy.
Well now, you're about 4 days too late.
I shifted my weight back in his direction and peered into his eyes with hatred.
What are you talking about?
I demanded.
That dude Santiago killed 2 prisoners in here 4 nights ago. He's out of here. We bust him out and up north.
I did not like the idea of the CO playing head games with me. If I would have given him my phone number, would he still be making all this shit up?
Oh, you don't believe me? He chuckled. Go wait in line. Go get searched. Go through the metal detectors. They're gonna tell you the same thing when you get up there. They might say Santiago allegedly killed 2 prisoners. Either way they say it, he's not here.
How do I find out where he is?
I asked, now desperately.
In a few days, he'll probably write you. He can read and write, can he?
He asked, and actually waited for a response.
Well, you can't take nothing for granted around here.
I got up quick.
He'll write. It's not like he has anything better to do.
With my back now to the CO, I moved swiftly toward the exit door. The last words I heard him say were,
Call me! I can make you feel better!
Yeah, I thought to myself. What a difference between the way men treated me before Santiago got knocked and the way they speak to me now. Like Santiago would say,
They feeling themselves. Thought it was time to spread their wings.
I know what happened behind those bars at Rikers. Some kind of disrespect. Somebody tried to test my father, so he was forced to set an example. He let everybody know,
Don't fuck with Santiago.
Penalty is death, baby, ghetto style. I took a deep breath. There was no sense feeling bad. My father is all man. This is what I loved best about him. Next stop, the liquor store and a pint of Hennessy to mellow me out. I slid into the movie theater in Queens and bought a ticket. What show? Any show. I just wanted to be where nobody would bother me, see me, or ask for none of my drink. It was just me, my brown paper bag, and 2 watermelon sticks to take away the liquor smell on my breath. Lights on, then off again. I stayed to see what I didn't see twice. One skinny white boy with an elevator suit came over and shined the flashlight in my face. But after the light landed on my face, hair, skirt, and brand new Joan and David heels, he took the light off me because I surely wasn't a homeless bum. Besides, I had a stub. From dark to dark, the inside of the theater into the night, I was calm. I bought a nickel bag from a dread I ran into the street. I'd rather give him my business than my body, which is what he wanted when he first approached me. Niggas always think when they see a girl walking alone in the street, they can slide up in her. But I decide when I'm getting fucked or not, even when I'm drunk. My body jerked back, forward, and sideways as the silver train jetted through the underground. The lights blinked on and off, bugging me out as my mind tried to move faster than the train wheels. The crazies on the train were more animated than ever. One old chick with 4 pounds of bottom lip and no top lip at all sat across from me muttering, "That's a lie, that's a lie, that's a motherfucking lie, y'all know that's a motherfucking lie." I busted out laughing, cause everything in my eyes at the moment was magnified. People had the nerve to look at me like I was nuts or something. The weed had me hungry, so I slid Daddy's package, which seemed to be getting heavier and heavier, into a locker at Penn Station, Manhattan, on 34th Street. For 50 cents, I locked everything up and dropped the key into my pocketbook. Now I was free to get dinner. I treated myself to Steak and Brew restaurant. I sat in the dim light by myself, eating my food. "Do you mind if I give you the check now, miss?" the hurried waitress asked. "It's 10:15 and my shift ended at 10. I'm sorry."
Don't worry about it.
I paid the bill. A couple more bites of my steak, well done, and I realized what the waitress had said. "It's 10:15. It's 10:15. It's 10:15. Curfew is at 11. I ran to the bathroom, peed, and straightened myself out. Then I caught the local downtown to 14th Street. I still had to walk to the east side. I puffed my last L as the light wind moved in and out of my legs, walking towards the House of Success. 10 minutes to curfew. I didn't want to hear shit about them revoking my upcoming weekend privileges. My 2-inch heels clicked on the sidewalk, making music. My theme music. I didn't know if anyone else could hear it, but it sounded real loud to me. When I turned the corner onto the block, I felt nervous out of nowhere, as if something wasn't cool. The lower Manhattan block turned into a haunted museum. The skinny little trees appeared to be armed enemies. I was seeing all types of shit, like snipers on the roof and vipers crawling on the ground. I hated this little block that was tucked away like a fake suburb. I mean, on a normal block in New York, there are lights and people, plenty of people, bodegas and niggas sitting on milk cartons, playing cards or shooting CeeLo or sipping brew. But this little street was full of shit, pretending to be something other than it was. Halfway down the block in the front entrance of my building, the outline of a body stepped forward like in an old Hitchcock flick. Energy shot through my body. My mind shook my hide to the left, then shook it to the right. My eyes focused in on the shadow cast by the dull light. An alarm within me sounded. Oh shit! It's Simone! Damn, had she peeped me? Did she think she could hide her pregnant ass by standing behind the tall, thin wall at the top of the stoop? What did she plan to do in her condition? Fuck her, I said to myself. She can't do nothing. In a flash, maybe half a second, she jumped off the stoop like an overweight acrobat. And out of the right and left side of the stoop shot 4 wild mamas in black Reebok sneakers, black jeans, and bright yellow hoodies, charging toward me like killer bees. Brooklyn, the only females bold enough to wear some bright shit in the middle of the night when they were supposed to be on the down low. I folded my pocketbook like it was a brown paper bag. Outnumbered 1 to 5 and unsure whether one of them was a big woman or a man, I turned on my heels and ran like my Joan and Davids were Air Jordans.
Go back, Simone! Go back, Simone!
One of them kept shouting, but Simone kept coming like a clunky pickup truck talk about,
I'm gonna get a piece of this trick bitch's ass! Get back, Simone!
But like a mad bull, she kept coming. The short one was gaining on me, but my slim yet muscular thighs were dodging them other fools. I was working that miniskirt. As I damn near flew around the corner, I looked back right in time to see Simone bust her ass, falling flat on her face. I dashed down the subway steps. 2 of the killer bees kept coming. I assumed the other 2 went to help Simone. When I tried to jump over the last 5 steps, my feet landed instead on the bottom step. I had lost my balance. I had lost 1 shoe. With only 1 shoe on, I heard them on my heels. I saw the train doors about to close and shot unevenly through the doors. As soon as I turned around to see if I shook them, the doors shut tight. Whatever they were screaming on the other side of the closed glass and metal front door didn't matter, 'cause it was drowned out by the departing screech of the train. But their middle fingers, I could read that. Relieved, I fell into the small space between a fat lady and a young guy with headphones on. With 1 shoe on and my blouse buttons popped open, my titties heaved in and out, in and out, in and out from heavy breathing. I gasped for air. When I looked up, I saw half of all the other passengers' eyes on me. I sucked my teeth, loud, began buttoning my blouse and spit. What the fuck are you looking at? At the first stop, I got off and switched to the uptown train line. I was sure them Brooklyn femmes weren't going that way. I plunged my hand into the coach bag to take inventory. My box cutter was still there. I ran my fingers over the handle thinking,
That's right. Simone was smart enough to get her little crew, 'cause she knew, one-on-one, she had no wins.
Even if there had been only 2 of them, I would have fought. But 5? Who knows if they had burners on them? I felt for the yellow envelope that I kept taped to the bottom of my coach bag. I hated ruining the leather inside the bag with the tape, but ever since Aunt B stuck me for my loot, I never left my money and jewels anywhere, no time, and my bag never leaves my side. Never. Okay, think. What's the plan? Simone and them ain't gonna wait for me at the House of Success forever, so I could ride a while and wait them out. No, I'll get off at the next stop and get to a payphone. I'll call the house and find out what's up. Rashida or one of them would fill me in. Now, should I leave one shoe on, or should I walk barefoot on the filthy subway platform? How long would it be before I could run into a vendor who could sell me a pair of socks? What would be a bigger spectacle, a female with one shoe on, or a well-dressed female with no shoes? This is New York, so I said fuck it. You blew curfew, Santiago! The House of Success bitch security guard's voice was blaring through the phone. I know. I'm gonna have to write you up, she said, taking her job seriously. I got a carton of Newports that say you don't have to say nothing. Make it 2. Now what do you want? Let me speak to Rashida. Rashida's asleep. Well, wake her up. She's in the shower. I thought you said she was asleep. Whatever. Do you want to speak to Lachey? What's going on, girl? I asked Lachey, hoping that if she knew something, she would volunteer to tell me. Nothing, she said in a calm voice. Has anybody called for me? You should have asked security. You know, they take all the messages. Anyway, I saw your girl Simone a few hours ago. What did she say? You know, the regular. She said give her a call. She needs to talk to you about something. Anything else? Nah, nothing. Listen, Lachey, my mom's is sick again. It looks like I'm gonna sleep over in the hospital with her tonight. Can you do me a favor? Yeah, anything. Just hit me off like old times, she laughed, but I knew she was serious. I didn't mind putting a few bucks in her palms for a favor. In my room, taped to the inside railing of my bed, there's a key. Use it to unlock my trunk. I further explained that she should pack some selected dresses, pants, blouses, and 2 pairs of my shoes, 1 flats, 1 heels. All that? Damn, where are you going? I'm going to the hospital to stay with my moms. She needs me. Besides, you know me with the clothes. Even if I'm just going for 1 night, I need to have clothes. Lachey laughed. Meet me tomorrow at noon at Penn Station, downstairs under the schedule board's digital display. Tomorrow, 12 noon, Penn Station, under the schedule display, she repeated. And make sure you lock my trunk up and bring me the key. Got it. Lachey had a damn good question. Where am I going? But in the interest of not being predictable, I wasn't going back to the House of Success tonight. From the subway platform, I walked upstairs at the 96th Street station. I had decided to keep the 1 shoe I had on my left foot. After a minute of looking around, I realized the only types of stores that were open were restaurants, delis, and vegetable stands. 8 minutes later, my dirty black foot got a splinter or a piece of glass or something in it. It was the first time my own body ever grossed me out. Finally, I came upon a 24-hour pharmacy. They didn't have no shoes for sale, but I was able to buy some hairy pink bedroom slippers, cotton balls, alcohol, and sewing needles. I found a chair outside of a cafe to sit on. As soon as I opened the cotton balls and took the top off the alcohol, a waiter came out.
May I take your order?
He said. Nothing for me, I responded.
Well, there is a drink and entree minimum to occupy these outdoor tables and chairs.
I'm not hungry. This will only take a minute. The waiter looked suspiciously on my side of the table and saw my foot and said,
Oh no, miss, you won't be allowed to do that here.
Okay then, I'll have a cheeseburger deluxe and a Coke.
I'll have to ask you to leave now, or I'll go and get the manager.
So I walked around aimlessly until I discovered the wide-open deserted steps of the Museum of Natural History. With only the midnight moonlight and a dull glare from a street lamp, I sat wiping my foot with the alcohol and cotton balls. I successfully removed the splinter with a sewing needle. The pink slippers were definitely not the bomb, but there are 2 of them, and they matched. Besides, it would only be a 10-hour fashion statement. The stores would open, and then I could get some proper shoes. Whether or not to check into a hotel was running through my mind. After shopping for Daddy, I only had $1,650. Not having a clear plan was stressing me, so I decided to save my dough until I was sure what my next move would be. I walked for blocks and blocks, just trying to keep it moving. In a city like New York, sitting still could make you anybody's target. The McDonald's I lucked up on closed out at 3 a.m., so I took the $15 worth of magazines I just purchased from a newsstand and moved next door to the donut shop. I ordered 2 glazed donuts and coffee just to keep the cashier from saying I couldn't sit at the counter. I opened up my hip-hop fanzine and began to read the articles about my favorite hip-hop stores.
Look at these rap chicks in the magazine, I thought to myself. If I could rhyme, I could get paid out the ass. Some of these rap girls had loot and still couldn't figure out where to get their weaves put in right.
I cracked up. Just then, some dude wearing the finest blue metallic suit the thrift shop had to offer sat in a chair next to me.
"Hey, sweetheart,"
he said, flashing a smile with so much plaque on his teeth it looked like a yeast infection.
"What can I do for you?"
he asked. I pushed my face into my magazine, ignoring him.
"Are you a ballerina, sweetheart?"
"What?" I said so loud, I put him on blast.
"Calm down, sweetie. I just want to talk to you for a minute. I'm saying you look like a ballerina to me with those long, sexy legs. Now me, I'm a manager. I'm always looking for new talent." He laid a dirty business card on the counter which read, "Girls Galore Management."
"No, I'm not no damn ballerina,"
I said, picking up my stuff.
"Do I look like a fucking ballerina? Do you know any ghetto girl ballerinas?"
Checking my hostility, he said,
"Now come on now. Don't get uptight. Just trying to do some business with you. Ballerina's just a fancy way of saying dancer."
"Well, I can dance,"
I said, moving down 2 chairs, separating him from me.
"but I ain't no dancer."
"Now don't go turning up your nose, little girl. A good dancer can bring in about 300 to 500 a night."
"Doing what?"
I asked with interest.
"Why, dancing,"
he said with another nasty smile. I looked at his whole entire face, that fucked up suit, and the black dirt caked up under his long nails. I jumped up, threw one hand on my hip, and said,
"Yeah, right. Dancing. Sucking a little dick, taking it up the ass a few times, and a bunch of shit like that, huh?"
The man who spoke with a lowered voice left as quickly as he came. By 5 a.m., a fat lady wearing a cheap, greasy apron nudged me. "There's no sleeping in here." She pointed to the sign on the wall that said no loitering, no barefoot.
"It don't say no sleeping,"
I said. "Well, you ain't buying nothing, so you are loitering." I pointed to the glazed donuts and the cold cup of coffee left on the counter 2 seats over. She twisted up her mouth and said, "That was here when I started my shift." I stood up to get my pocketbook that I was sitting on. I pulled out 50 cents and said,
"I'll take a glazed donut."
She spun on her dirty plastic work shoes with attitude, handed me the donut in tissue paper. I looked up at the clock thinking,
"I only have 1 hour until sunlight. If I have to buy 1 donut every 10 minutes, I would."
I strained to think at 8 a.m. The sun was well up, but I was so exhausted I couldn't put anything in order in my head. The only thing I had decided for definite was, after Lachey brought my clothes, I would check into a hotel, sleep, shower, and figure it all out. The fact that Simone, well, not really Simone, but a crew knew where to find me put me on the defensive. I didn't like that arrangement. I should be the one coming up with the surprises. The Koreans, who were always open the earliest and the latest, sold me a hat and a pair of sunglasses. Total cost, $7. They were disposable. There was no way I was going to walk out in the morning rush where professional people wore suits, dresses, and trench coats with bedroom slippers on my feet. At least I wouldn't walk without first shielding my eyes with the sunglasses and the hat to add to my disguise and a sense of mystery. Anyway, by 10 a.m., I would be standing outside of Macy's on 34th Street. I'd get some new shoes, maybe a moderately priced dress, then I'd toss this depressing disguise. Why should I go shopping when Lachey was going to bring my clothes? Because I wouldn't give her the pleasure of seeing me down and out. Besides looking tired, she would never know what happened to me last night. I wouldn't be caught dead in this getup by anybody who knows me. Macy's bathroom was a welcome relief. It definitely beat the filthy, claustrophobic closet bathroom in the donut shop. The couch, comfortable chairs, clean counters, soap dispensers, and toilets were just what I needed. I had already begun to smell my underarms. I slid straight out of my soiled panties. I threw them in the garbage can. I washed myself with the rough paper towels. I splashed my face with water to wake up. A sprinkle of water in my hair, I swept it in a bun. I took a deep breath and said, "This will have to do." My keen eyes were ready to find the best quality walking shoe at a reasonable price. As I picked through some of the sale items on the table, I looked up briefly only to notice an elderly white man watching me. Every time I would look back to see if he was still there, he'd be staring right back at me. He was careful to stay about 4 feet away from me when I was walking. When the entire scene became too aggravating for me, I turned around quickly to startle him, throwing my hands up in the air, then on my waist. I said firmly,
"Yes? Can I help you?"
At first, he tried to have a blank look on his face. Then he stepped to me and said in a repulsively mild and courteous tone, "Do you mind if I take a look in your bag?"
"You're damn right I mind,"
I snapped, my natural reaction. He held his right hand up, holding a security badge. "Listen, miss, here are your options. You can cooperate with me, or I can get the police involved."
"Police? For what?"
"Miss, please calm yourself down. Lower your voice. You're alarming the customers."
"I am a customer."
He looked me over head to toe. His eyes landed on my pink slippers, then back on my face. I'm thinking my shit don't match, but that ain't no crime. Come with me, miss. He walked me into a back room, one you wouldn't notice if you were just an ordinary customer like me, I thought. "Sit down," he ordered. I sat in a chair right next to a silver two-way mirror. I could look out and see the customers, but I knew they couldn't see me. "Now I would like you to volunteer for me to look in your bag."
"Why?" I asked. "I didn't do shit."
"I saw you when you were at our front door early this morning, at 9:45 a.m. to be exact. You were wearing a black knit hat, black sunglasses, and pink bedroom slippers. You walked around the first floor for about 10 minutes looking at and touching the merchandise. You took the escalator to the third floor clutching your bag, then entered the ladies' room on the west side of the building. You were in the bathroom for approximately 30 minutes. When you exited, you were no longer wearing the hat or the sunglasses. Now, because of your suspicious behavior, I need to be sure that everything in your bag belongs to you." Sucking my teeth like a fast car hitting its brakes, I opened my bag. I had a feeling this military asshole was willing to take this foolishness all the way. Besides, I hadn't stolen anything. He said, "May I take a look at the bag?" He turned it over, emptying its contents onto the blotter on the desk. His wrinkled face, with the bulging eyeballs, looked over everything. He knew he was wrong, but he was determined to be right. First thing he grabbed was my box cutter. "How old are you, young lady?" "21, I said with no hesitation. He opened my wallet, glanced over my business cards, then discovered my House of Success ID. Looking from the ID, then into my eyes, the ID, then into my eyes, again he said, "You're 17, not 21. You know it's illegal for anyone to sell a box cutter to a minor in New York."
"Listen," I said curtly, "you accuse me of stealing. As you can see, I didn't take anything that belongs to your store."
Busting a small sweat, I told him I just wanted my bag back. Luckily, this idiot did not even see the envelope taped to the bottom of the bag. This is why I cooperated with him. I didn't want him to call the police. Then I have to explain where I got $1,600 in cash and my diamond jewelry from. No doubt, even if I offered the police a great explanation, they would have wanted to drive me to the House of Success, where I didn't want to go. No telling what would have happened when the counselors and authorities found out how much dough I had without having a job. On his signal, I picked up each and every item belonging to me and put it back in the bag. With an impatient face while tapping my foot, I asked,
"Can you please let me go now?"
"1 minute, he ordered. "Raise up your arms." He ran his 2 hands from the top of my shoulders down to my wrists.
"Come on, this is ridiculous. You can tell there's nothing in my blouse. It's tight. All of my clothes are tight."
"I can still get the police," he threatened. "They can get a warrant and search you thoroughly. I can make you sit and wait for them to get here." This bastard, whose hands couldn't stop shaking, ran over the center of my neck, right down along my spine. Facing me, he then ran his 2 hands from my shoulder blades right over each of my titties, cupping them a bit. Infuriated, I saw nothing but images of the cops cuffing Mama, stealing Daddy's stuff, impounding Mama's car. If I could tolerate him for a few minutes, I would be home free. Take off your skirt.
What?
Take off your skirt.
See, now you bugging. I ain't taking off my skirt. What do you think I have? A pair of high heels hidden in my panties?
I've seen all types of things happen before, miss. I'm just doing my job. I looked down at this man's little hard dick poking through his pants.
I think you're doing a little more than your job.
Just then, a lady security officer, short and fat with Catwoman glasses, opened the door with her key.
Hey, what you got in here, Izzy?
She asked, like Izzy was her best pal. Nothing, I answered for Izzy. I gave him a threatening look, letting him know I'd blow the whistle on his little perverted party.
We're finished, right?
Yes, everything seems to be in order, he said. I brushed by the lady security officer and walked out swiftly and kept going until I got out into the street. The clock said 11:15 a.m. I'd run to meet Lachey. Fuck it, I don't owe her any explanation about my appearance anyway. As I placed the plate and pizza crust into the garbage can, my eyes caught a glimpse of Rashida coming up the subway stairs and into the mall in Penn Station. She didn't see me standing there. She kept looking over her shoulder nervously. She run in and out of every little indoor store in the huge waiting area. Wondering what she was doing, but not wanting to see her, I stepped 3 steps back into the pizza store and glanced outward from my discreet position. That's when she did it. Like a woman having a nervous breakdown, she went directly under the huge digital train schedule display on the ceiling and shouted with both hands on her head, "Winter! Winter! Winter! If you hear me, Winter! 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 If you hear me, please! Please!" Stunned, I came. I rushed over so she could shut up. When she saw me coming toward her, she got excited like I was Ed McMahon delivering a Publishers Clearinghouse multi-million-dollar sweepstakes check. Without talking, she grabbed my hand and jerked it. When I resisted, she said, "Winter, seriously? We got to get out of here." I saw the terror in her face. I followed, knowing she ain't the slick type. "Simone is going to kill you. Well, maybe not kill you, but hurt you real bad. She has a gun. You must have did something terrible to her."
How do you know this?
"Everybody knows. Last night, Lachey said that Simone said that you was a double-crossing bitch. Lachey was with Simone yesterday from 8 to 10. When Lachey came inside, she told everybody that you was gonna get popped. She said you deserved it, 'cause you had double-crossed her too and cut her out of some money. They was waiting for you. Lachey said Simone had a couple of girls outside the House of Success. Everybody thought you'd be in before curfew. I was praying you didn't come. I told them the whole thing was between Simone and Winter, and it was stupid for anybody else to get involved, I told them. Y'all don't even know Winter's side of the story."
Then what happened?
"They locked me in our room and kept their bodies against the door so I couldn't get out. They locked me in there till like 11:30.
Then what?
I don't know. Nobody would tell me shit.
So how do you know I was here?
Last night, after everybody thought I was sleeping, Lachey came in our room. They was looking for something, 'cause they were all over your bed. Next thing I know, Lachey had opened your trunk. They was picking and choosing who wanted what, and Lachey was giving your stuff out. They took everything, down to the barrettes and the face cream. Even the security guard was trying to get something out of the deal, but none of the clothes could fit her, so she stole those carton of cigarettes you had in the pouch on the side."
But how did you know I was going to be in Penn Station at 12?
"'Cause when Miss Porter came in this morning about 9, she asked the girls if they knew where you were. She wanted to know if you came in last night. Everybody started looking all nervous and guilty, so Mrs. Porter stepped to me. Before I could open my mouth, Lachey blurted out that your mom's was in the hospital and you slept over with her. Lachey said she would see you at 12 noon at Penn Station because you needed some clothes and she was going to bring them to you. Now, Lachey was getting calls all night, going back and forth to the security desk, so I knew she was up to no good. I didn't know if you had spoken to her or even if you would be here or not, but I took a chance. I didn't want to see nothing bad happen to you." Rashida hugged me and my body stiffened. It was time to figure everything out. "Come on." Rashida grabbed my hand and guided me swiftly through the train station like I was in kindergarten or something.
"What's the deal?"
I asked. "Where are we headed?" "To a friend's house, Winter. Someone who can help you out."
"I don't need no help," I told her. "I just need a couple of minutes to think."
By the time we got off at the stop she wanted, it struck me, dropped into my head out of nowhere. Without saying a word, I turned around and began to walk back onto the subway platform in the opposite direction of Rashida. "Winter, please," she begged me. "I just want to help."
"Oh no, You try to take me to Soldier's house like I'm some kind of charity case, a homeless runaway or something. You can forget it, girl. I ain't gonna do it.
Winter, seriously though? Do you have somewhere else to go? I didn't answer. I didn't like her self-appointed mother role. You already live in a girl's home. You already don't have no family.
I got family, bitch. You bugging. I got mad family. You don't know the half.
If you got family, Winter, so much family, why don't you live with them? Where are they? You can't come back to the House of Success. It wouldn't be safe. And you don't have to live as soldiers. Just chill for a few days while we figure out what to do next.
We?
I screamed, throwing my hands up in the air. Now all of a sudden, it's a we. Fuck you, Winter, Rashida screamed back at me. That's it. I try to do the right thing, and look at you. You don't even realize when somebody's trying to help your ass. As Rashida cried, I laughed. My laughing threw her off. She stopped crying. What's so funny? She asked.
You don't even know how to cuss right. You sound funny. You don't curse.
She got back at ease and led the way. Her house is right up there. Just do me one favor. Check it out before you just flat out say no.
We have reached the end of this portion of the Sister Souljah miniseries on Ralph Reads. I would like, or rather love, to thank you, queens and kings, fellow royalty, for stopping by. You may connect with me via Facebook, send a friend request while you still can to Ralph Anthony Garcia on Twitter and Instagram at RGMC2407. Send an email to rgmc2407@gmail.com, where if you'd like to leave a small donation, please use the Zelle app or paypal.me/RGMC2407 or Cash App. My cash tag is RGMC2407. You may also connect with me on my other channel, RGMC, Ralph Garcia, Master of Ceremonies, and right here on TURN, the United Ronin Networks. We are Ronin. Fellow royalty, pick up a good book, read a good story, and set your good self free. I appreciate you, and I love you like cooked food. I will see you folks on the continuation of this Sister Souljah miniseries on Ralph Reads. Watch out for Karma. She's a bitch.